the chapter that's what I was thinking about. Is the chapter about how map makers, which I knew about, put in like little mistakes and stuff in order to catch people copying your work. Okay, so like it makes sense obviously, because it would be quite easy just to copy someone else's map. But if you make up a location or a town or a place, then that proves that this is a copied map.
Yeah, it's a famous story where there was an old map of New York State that had a fictional town of Agloe,
Yes.
which never existed. It was a little town in the middle of nowhere. They only put it on the map so that if Agloe turned up on somebody else's map, they'd know they must have copied that, and therefore they must have copied the whole thing. So this happens all the time. Map makers include deliberate little mistakes to protect their copyright. So the story of Agloe is a famous one because what happened was this paper town turned into a real town. Because the story is Rand McNally produced a map showing Agloe. The makers of the Esso map said, Agloe was our invention. You must have copied us. And they said, no, we didn't. You can go there yourself and check. There is actually a tiny little shop in the middle of nowhere called the Agloe General Store. And the people who built the general store named it Agloe because they'd seen the old map. So what happened was the Esso map created this fake place to protect their copyright, but then it became real, so they weren't able to protect their copyright anymore. So that's the famous story that's been told many times. We were doing the research for this story because we wanted to find out the actual details, including why the Agloe General Store completely disappeared without trace and no one knows where it really was. And the reason is that story itself might be a trap in itself. There's a slightly more detailed version of the story that we found where there was never an Agloe General Store. There was an Agloe fishing lodge that had been built many years before. It was an old fishing lodge, and someone had bought it up and changed the name of it to Agloe Fishing Lodge at exactly the same time that the map got published, which is very, very suspicious.
Yes.
And it's actually quite possible that Rand McNally, as soon as they realized they were about to be rumbled for copying Esso's map, they thought we'd much rather pay $1 for a fishing lodge than potentially millions of dollars in legal fees.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of things that we couldn't translate perfectly into the audiobook. There's one bit in the chapter about paper towns. We thought, wouldn't it be fun if we had our own map and we said, there's one mistake in here, can you find it?
Right.
And I think that is genuinely the most heated argument that Mark and I had throughout the entire book writing process, is whether the fake town... So we have this map of Britain that shows almost every place beginning with B.
Right.
And we thought, let's put a fake town in there. But Mark and I couldn't agree whether the fake town beginning with B should be called Boyoyoing or Boyoyoyoing.